What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. I have a guest here today. I was gonna say a very special guest, but it's just my dad. How you doing? How you doing today, sir?
I'm pretty good, Doug. I done lost the special off my title.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's all right. I don't do it often, but today I decided to talk about New York and their teams, their fan bases, all of that sort of thing, and who other to do it than I guess the man that's pretty much fans of all the teams there. So first we're gonna kick off talking about the Giants. Actually, no, I'll let you introduce yourself and then also let them know, where you're from, what sports you played growing up, and then also I guess what the game means to you. I always ask my guests when they first come on what the game means to them. So I guess I'll give you that due diligence and let you go ahead and say what the game means to you.
Well, if people don't realize by now, I happen to be your father, and I'm going to try to take it easy on you because there's a love there, which is hard to keep going sometimes with some of the opinions you express about some of the teams you support. But I'm going to try. Born and bred New Yorker, moved to London about 2 years ago. So it's been pretty hard to try to follow all my New York teams. And I don't love all New York teams. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm a Mets fan, Knicks fan, and Giants fan. And if you're really from New York, you do not root for the other side, which is the Yankees, Jets, and who's the other one? Oh, the Nets.
Nets.
Yeah, they're still New Jersey. I don't even call them Brooklyn. And I don't follow hockey because I don't know the rules and just doesn't really excite me at all. But yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking with it.
Understandable. I think the only team I did pick up from you was the Mets, so that's why I left them out of the show today. Because I know there'll be a shared mutual thing, and I don't really want to share much of favorite sports teams with you. So, like I said, we'll kick off things, I guess, with the Giants. I've seen you in the comments in a few of my shows, and you want me to talk about the Giants, even though it's not a Giants show. So that's why I said I'll decide to give you today to talk about your New York Giants and a little bit about the Knicks towards the end. You guys are coming off a pretty nice win against Seattle Seahawks, and
Pretty nice.
yeah, it's a decent win. I mean, it
I
wasn't
gotta
meant to.
interject, bro, because it's. Did you not hear what Pete Carroll said in his interview at the end after the game? He
Nah,
had
I
never
went on.
seen anything like that before. This man has been coaching for how long?
What was he talking about the Giants and I guess the team, or was he talking about his team and the failure or lack of?
He was talking about the defense. He had never seen a defense like that. Go back and look up that comment. That is what Pete Carroll said.
I mean, I guess I
See,
mean
and this,
I
go ahead, because this is the part that gets me. You sit back and you have these shows and it's great, but you don't acknowledge the team that's on the rise and playing well. Like you and I
I
have
did
looked at the
acknowledge them.
stats.
We
They
acknowledged
need
them.
more than just a blurb you running by and then you want to run back to Atlanta.
Oh my.
So the team has been playing well. The record doesn't show it, but the team is ascending.
I said that I agree with you. I said ever since that Buccaneers game, that's the game I watched most to all of the game. I was like, they've been on the rise since then. Joe Judge has been playing good football on both sides of the ball. And I said that I've been saying no NFC East team is out of it until literally probably like the last week of the season. So it shows, and you guys are now in first place. So I feel like I gave you guys your flowers at time. I mean, I'm not gonna rave over them. They're doing the best they can do with what they have right now, and in an NFC East division where pretty much everyone sucks.
Well, I have no
It,
problem. I have no problem with that, and I will happily call them the NFC least. Not a problem with that at all. But somebody has to win it, and the Giants may not get to the playoffs often, but when we do, something good usually happens out of it.
yeah, but who was your quarterback quarterback and head coach when that time was happening? You had
Well, we did have a life before Eli Manning.
I mean, yeah, but relevancy wasn't really much there. Like that's like what that was back when you guys had what you call it,
Phil
Lawrence.
Simms,
Well,
Lawrence
yeah,
Taylor.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Lawrence Taylor, like that before Eli, like that's the last relevancy that I knew about you guys.
Yeah, but Eli was 16 years, never missed a game. So It's hard to go
Exactly.
back and look back 16 years.
I know, that's what I'm talking about. My point is basically you don't have Eli Manning there to help you got your 9-7 team get to a Super Bowl and win.
Honestly, I was one of the people of the many people who did not want to see him go because I'm like he can still throw the ball. They didn't give him a line. We actually have a line right now that's doing a decent, not even decent, doing a good job. If he actually put on some roller skates and would run more than 3 yards an hour, he might have actually won another one. But he did what you asked him to do, what he was capable of doing. I have no problem with Eli, but I do like what flashes of this kid Daniel can
Jones.
do. Yeah. So
I mean,
he's learning, but we
yeah.
got a lot of rookies on our team, and these rookies are playing.
Yeah. That's why I said I gave you guys your flowers because the rookies are, especially on the defensive side, they're all stepping up and they're playing well.
Yeah,
But
but it took me beating you over the head for you to get you to acknowledge my boys.
no, it didn't. I just don't really. I'm not going to really talk about the Giants. Like, what do I have to talk about the Giants for? Besides,
It's a
me having to
sports
talk
show.
about.
If there's
I
a
know
guy
it is.
coming up from behind that's going to win the race and has a good chance of beating off or knocking off the thoroughbreds at the front of the pack,
I'm
you
glad you
have to
brought
talk
that.
about them.
I'm glad you brought it up. I have been talking about it a little bit, but I'm gonna bring it up in a few seconds or a few minutes. But the other team in your guys' division, who I actually believe is probably going to win the division, the team that has no name, Washington Football Team. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But I wanted to ask you or talk to your point because you said you like the flashes that you see from Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones is injured right now. I don't know when he's supposed to come back. I think it was a hamstring or something with lower leg. But Colt McCoy was the quarterback this past Sunday, and I don't think too often. I guess we're going to see, or at least now they have more film on him again. We haven't seen Colt McCoy since when, like 2 years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
I'm sure. I think who do you guys play next? I forgot. I have the schedule up as well, but whoever you guys play next has a little bit more film on them. Yeah, Arizona. And
that's an easy win.
That's not an easy win. They just they have a tough schedule. They play in the NFC West. They're coming off having to play New England, who's ascending as well, and they came off playing the Rams, who are now the division leaders. That's not an easy win at all.
That's an easy
oh
win.
my god!
And so
how is that an easy win?
It's Arizona.
Oh my gosh! Are you talking about me? That's all. It's Arizona. No, it's not an easy win. Who's guarding D-Hop? Hopefully Larry Fitzgerald's back.
You just said that about Metcalf.
What do you mean about Metcalf? Metcalf still had a decent game. It's really because Wilson couldn't get him the ball because you guys defensively got good pressure on him.
Because our corners had good one-to-one coverage. And Bradbury in the backfield is a beast. Peppers is playing lights out. Yeah, you might want to go start looking at some of these names and then go look at some of the defensive stats. The Giants are in the top 10 almost every defensive stat category, even with their record. And they're in top 3, I think, in 3 of them.
Top 3? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that
for
sure. Or you can pull it up. I know you gotta. Yeah, I know you. But top 3, I'm a little shaky about that. But like I said, I wanted to touch on the other guys that's in your division got the same record that I think is also been ascending and playing really good football, just like you guys.
Until we break their quarterback's leg.
It's not going to happen.
We tend to do to them in history. You remember Theismann and a few of the other quarterbacks.
Yeah, true. But you guys have played them already, and like you like to point out. That's what I would say. Like to point out to me that you guys beat them twice, but those are your only 2 wins for a minute. So but I would say they've rolled off and got some pretty good wins. Obviously, yesterday they beat the Steelers, undefeated team.
In rushing defense.
It's been a lot of movement because at a point the Falcons were 8th. I think that was like a week ago. So
yeah, but the Falcons showed who they really are. So this is today. We're talking about today, the teams that are still there.
I mean, technically they're still there. Like if they went off these
lower down the list.
Yeah, I mean we're only 2 games out. If they'd have won this past weekend, would have done it a lot better for ourselves. Would have been only one game out and had a chance. But regardless, like I was saying, I wanted to get back to the Washington Redskins because this is the team I believe that's actually going to win the division. Given that I believe,
What's their schedule for the rest?
That's what I got it for you. You don't even have to pull it up. I got it on the next slide for you. I brought both you guys' schedule actually. And like I pointed out to you off air, that you guys have the harder schedule out of both of you guys.
And that's what I want.
That's what you want?
Yeah. Because we're playing up to the competition.
Oh, I guess that. So you think they've been okay? All right. So you think they've been playing up to the competition, which is why you feel you guys are ascending and playing so well. So you feel like if you played a bad team, you guys would play just as bad and end up losing the game?
I think they would get complacent, and it's very possible they'd end up losing. You bring in Seattle, where Seattle's supposed to run all over them, and they walk off the field confused. I like seeing that. What happened with Seattle in that interview with Pete Carroll, that was the best thing that's happened to me all year. So as much as I like Russell Wilson, it was nice seeing him get punched in the mouth a few times.
Yeah, wasn't nice for me. I have him on my fantasy team. He only got me 19 points.
See, that's you. I don't do that fantasy football thing, man.
You got to get into it. It's pretty fun. You get invested, and it makes you get invested. That's why. That's halfway why I got invested in the Giants at the beginning of the season, because I drafted Saquon. But that's my fault though, because
I to you about this thing. I went to my boy's house in Long Island. He had the perfect man cave. Like, he had a spread that was just laid out, beers, food, tables, big screens, surround sound. And then I'm like, yeah, because I forgot who the Giants were playing that day, but it was a big game. And we sit down, we get to watch the game, and I'm like, all right, I know these are Giants fans too. And then he puts on Red Zone and doesn't watch the game, and then they all start talking to each other. Who you got? Who do you have? Who do you have? And I'm like, nah, I can't. I can't.
But you get a good balance. You get to watch all the games. You get to see different players and different teams and stuff that you may not normally get accustomed to be watching.
That's the difference between you and me. I will never root for that man that you have on the screen right now because he plays for that team. I will never root for anybody on Dallas other than to go and get an STD all on the same plane. Like, that's my level of fandom for my team. You guys go and want to pick up guys from your rivals. Nah, I don't want to see nothing good happen to Dallas ever in my lifetime.
I can see that. That's a good point. I mean, I'm with you with the Dallas thing. Within the last year or two, I've kind of come around just because Dak's their quarterback now. And I typically have like one Dallas player on my team, unfortunately. But I can see that. That's a good point. It's just a difference between, I guess, old head and new school here.
Exactly. So it's a generation thing. You guys want to latch on to the greatest and whatever. Me, I don't mind. I know good times are going to come around again. And now I can enjoy wearing my little stuff with pride right now because my team is ascending.
Yeah.
It's been some hard times, though, I will admit.
Yeah.
There's some dust on it in the closet.
Yeah, it's been pretty hard since when was that last championship? Was it 08?
Oh, don't go there because the numbers don't add up for Atlanta. So let's be careful.
What numbers don't add up?
With championships.
I mean, we got a few championships across all sports. We got a few.
See, there you go with all sports. I could bring up years where our teams won everything, but we just had multiple ticker tape parades. Don't forget the '86.
I mean, yeah, the Mets, but again, that's gonna say I'm fine with that because I'm a Mets guy.
Mets, Giants. Who else won it that year? I think the Rangers won it that year. So I don't start talking about all sports when we start talking about cities. I told you I love you. I'm gonna be nice because I gotta support you in what you're doing, but don't get carried away there.
I mean, it's different though. Like, guys have obviously had teams and organizations in the city of New York longer than we have as well. So we're on the come up. We'll start winning soon. We see our teams are ascending across all sports as well. So it's all right.
Is the running back that we got from you still playing?
He might still Devontae Freeman. He might be hurt. I'm not too sure about that.
I think we chucked.
I know he got hurt I know he got hurt after like 2 weeks being with y'all. So he might be on IR.
He was good for a little bit. I liked him. I was surprised.
Yeah. But again, Yeah, I was about to say got the schedule up now. Wayne Gallman's been pretty well for you guys as well. Then you
He's
guys
been
got
a
Alfred Morris, so
beast.
he's a beat. Even in the league, what 3 years? He just now getting touches.
No,
He must not have been that much of
because
a
he's
beast.
behind Barkley. But I think because our rushing, I think we're third in rushing. Let me pull it up.
Hmm.
Rushing, we are no, we in the top 10. So I think we're 10th in rushing. We're going without having Barkley. Come on.
Yeah, I said again, I don't know. Like I said, he's been in the league 3 years. They're just not giving him touches. It must have not been something there. But like I said, schedule wise, I wanted to bring this up. You guys are playing. You guys at the moment, well, before last week, you guys were playing 3 playoff teams. Now it's down to 2 with the Browns and Baltimore. As for
Yeah.
Washington, they only play 1 playoff team at the moment, which is the Seahawks. So, what do you think? I guess happens in these last 4 games. And again, like I said, how do you see? I guess you're ascending team. How do you feel like they're going to fare out versus Washington's last 4 games?
I think 3 out. Who does Washington have for their last 4? I see us winning 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did I stutter, bro?
What do you okay. Well, for the what you call it, Redskins, they play the 49ers, Seahawks, Panthers, and Eagles. But I guess what
Seahawks will
I need
smash them.
okay, so how do you
Eagles, they'll
okay.
win.
Well, you can't just go low. Like, all right, why do you believe they're gonna smash the Redskins? And I guess your team was able to pull off a win from it. Why don't you think the Redskins are able to also pull off a win from them?
Because I think by that late in the season, because you said they're 2 games away, right? I think Seattle will be playing for their lives, their playoff lives at that point.
Mm.
And I don't think they're going to let another one slip away, not to a team in the NFC East.
Mm.
So if they can't get revenge on us, I think they will get revenge on Washington. 49ers, yeah, they probably got that one. Carolina, who's Carolina have now?
Teddy
Nobody, right?
Bridgewater.
Yeah, they probably win that one.
Christian
I
McCaffrey.
think we end up with a tie, but I think they can. I think they can give a couple away. It's Dan Snyder. As long as Dan Snyder owns that team, nothing good's gonna happen to them. Like they did okay now by changing the name, but Dan Snyder is just a walking virus. Like literally.
Yeah, and I guess if you guys do tie, you guys have the head-to-head since you guys won both of the games,
But I
unfortunately.
think because they just flexed us for the December 20th game, so now we have the Sunday night game. So I think that opens up a window for us to get complacent and fade under the bright lights.
Yeah, I was about to say that might be a game you guys get smashed.
I think that's going to be the reckoning game, and that will define where we go for the rest of the season. Because if they can step up under the bright lights and being on national TV,
yeah,
I'd be scared of other teams seeing them in the playoffs.
Yeah, because I don't know if you gotta do that well in primetime games, and the way the Browns just played against the Titans this past week, they play like that the rest of the year. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's the Browns, and like, come on, how much do we really expect of the Browns? Other than it's nice, it's cute, but
yeah, I mean, gotta shut
Odell
down
Beckham
somehow.
Yes, that's not hard. Like I said, I believe in our defense.
But what 3 games do you see coming out of these 4? That's what I want.
They'll win this Sunday. I think they might miss. I think they might slip up on the 20th. If they win the 20th, Baltimore, half their team may be dead by the end of December. With the way they're getting COVID, they might be dating the Kardashians. And Dallas, that's automatic win.
Automatic? You don't think Dallas. they try to play spoiler at the end of the season?
No, I think they're going for draft picks at this point. It's yeah. Plus, I think they're going to get ready to fire their whole team. If you got Aikman now coming out criticizing Jerry, it's not what they're going to look like by the end of the season. And that's the bad part, because you have to throw COVID into this. It's so hard to look ahead and think that things are going to go the way you want it to go when a breakout can end up doing just what it's doing in Baltimore.
That's true. But for the most part, I'm trying to think. Out of all these, Baltimore has been hit pretty heavy, but all the other ones have stayed relatively healthy.
See, and this is the point where I talk about when we have rookies on defense who are playing well. And I know you haven't brought this up on your show yet, because it's the COVID aspect. Like, there's nobody at the stadium right now. You have 4 rookies on our defensive line. How many offside penalties do we have? None. And it's not many. But for that 4 rookies on an offensive line, where they're actually, you don't have the crowd in there disguising the snap count, so you actually have to react to the ball movement or a quarterback's voice, and they are not jumping. And that's the part I don't think you understand. And that's why we're getting pressure, because these guys are disciplined.
But it can be said the opposite way too, because that crowd noise could affect the way they do jump off the ball. Because say, like you say, the crowd noise is going whatever, and like they can't really fully hear the snap count. Like, yeah, they're going based off of the snap of the ball, so it's like they can get a later jump because they're not really able to hear like it clearly as they are now.
But and you're missing my point, because that's exactly what I'm saying. They can't hear the snap count. So the only thing they can react to when that crowd is yelling in their ear is the movement of the ball or the movement of the play on the offensive line. Right now, because there is no crowd there, the quarterbacks are drawing these guys off sides all the time because they can hear the snap count, hard counts. But our guys are not jumping, and these are rookies.
Yeah. I guess that comes with tape and everything as well. I can see your point. I feel like we both got a good point on this, because yeah, they're not jumping because, like you said, they're disciplined enough to like know when the hard count's coming or hear the hard count or whatever and not jump. But also, I feel like the crowd noise could have played a noise or could play a role in the situation as well, to where like they could like try to guess it and try to jump off sides instead. So either way,
that's a guess. I hear you.
Yeah, that's what and that's where I guess the undisciplinedness would come in. But yeah, each his own. That's
the rookies that have never been in this situation before, and like I said, we only got blown out one game. Every other game has been mistakes that they've been correcting over time, and
y'all got blown out.
Away.
Y'all were getting blown out in the Dallas game.
And what happened? We came back.
I mean, y'all came back, but it's because it's Dallas. They've been playing the way they've been playing all year, so it's understandable. But at a point, y'all were getting blown out by a team that you just said is an easy win at the end of the year.
Yeah, and then that was what game was that? How long ago was that? That was October.
It's only December.
A lot has happened since then.
Decent amount has happened. I mean, after that, y'all lost, then won, and then lost again,
and then won 4. But we lost, and then won. But we lost. How much did we lose by? We lost by 3, 2. All these games are close.
Even the games y'all won been close though too.
Exactly, because we've been learning how to win.
I guess.
You can sit back and have this argument all you want to, but I'm telling you, my team is rising. And
my argument is
rising. It's problems.
My argument is, because I know you keep bringing up the rookie point, is on the other side of it with the Washington Redskins. I feel like they have more veteran leadership in key positions that's going to be beneficial the last 4 games and going into the playoffs. They have a experienced head coach in Ron Rivera. They got an experienced quarterback in Alex Smith, a game manager. They got really good weapons as well on the offensive end. They got Antonio Gibson, Payne Barber. They got J.D. McKissick. They got Terry McLaurin. They got Logan. They got a bunch of guys on the offensive side. And then defensively, their front 4 is probably, if not the best in football right now, is top 3.
I don't know if you can say that, because we kind of smacked them around a bit.
Y'all did. The games y'all played against them were close, and they weren't even fully healthy. And like you said, it took time. Like, when's the last time y'all played them? October 18th. A lot's happened in 2 months. So
we broke their quarterback's leg in Vince.
Yeah, the quarterback probably shouldn't even been in at that point, honestly. So I feel like if Alex Smith would have got because during that game, y'all were winning by 2 touchdowns, and then Alex Smith brought them back into it. So I feel like Alex Smith would have got that start from the beginning.
They should be thanking us.
Because they see that Alex Smith should be the one that's playing quarterback right now.
They should be thanking us. Exactly.
I mean, I guess if in a weird twisted way, if you want to say that, yeah, they should be taking y'all. But honestly, they should have been starting him from the very beginning. I guess they were probably a little scared to throw him out there because of him coming back from his leg injury and everything. But he's played really well since he's taken over the starting role. And like
See,
I
but
said,
that goes back to your point about Daniel Jones. Now teams are going to start getting tape on them, so their games are not going to get easier. Teams are going to now have tape on what Alex Smith is doing now. His current version, he ain't the same Alex Smith as he was.
I mean, yeah, obviously not really. He's probably not going to be as mobile as he used to be able to be. But he's again, like he's always been the same type of quarterback. He's a game manager. He's not going to make mistakes, and he can make those tight window throws. He can make those necessary throws at the end, towards the end of games. Versus Daniel Jones, if he does come back and is playing for you guys, he's been making the same mistakes he's been making. He's been making the same mistakes this year that he was making last year, where he likes to force balls. He turns it over. Like that's, and like I told you off air, I feel like that's going to be the difference in whether you guys are able to pull out one of these important games coming down the stretch.
You said that 3 weeks ago. How many turnovers has he had since then? Besides not counting last week when he didn't play. Well, I got to count anyway because he can't throw a turnover if he didn't play. But still,
exactly. So you got to throw it in there.
And it wasn't. It was Evan Ingram who's missed a fumble on one play, but then come back and do a Super Bowl David Tyree type catch on the next one. So a lot of his turnovers aren't necessarily his turnovers. But he's been correcting his mistakes, and he's part of that formula when I say the team is getting better. He's the leading rusher on the team. Well, actually, probably not now.
Not anymore.
Think about this. When he comes back, and you have him and Gallman as a two-headed monster of rushing, and if Morris keeps playing well, they will be a force to reckon with.
Do you really want Daniel Jones running the ball?
It's nice to have him as a threat because we don't say that about any of the other quarterbacks who are mobile. We don't say that about them. So why would I not want Daniel Jones running the ball? I saw him, well, the fumble with the touchdown was kind of bad, but still, not the fumble, the fall.
He's had a few little mishaps to where he's running the ball and something weird or bad happens.
Yeah, but
I guess this
pull out a 90-yard run or a 60-yard run, and it's a design play, and it works. At some point, you got to factor that in.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be too worried about Daniel Jones being a running threat, but like you said, I guess he's able to sometimes extend plays or whatever. But is he going to be able to do that coming back from his injury? These last
it's a hamstring. He didn't tear it. He just had a tight hamstring.
But that's a soft tissue injury. So then it's like, and I see it all the time here with Julio. It's like, well, he's a receiver though, so this is a little different. But it's like if he
pull out every play.
Yeah. But then that's what I'm saying. So it's like if it's a designed run or if he has to extend a play and he's trying to all out run in a specific play, I don't think he's not as athletic as Julio Jones.
We just showed you last week that we don't need the quarterback to run 60 yards every 4 plays. If we can
you're gonna trust Colt McCoy the last 4 games?
No, I'm saying we don't need him to come back and be the runner that he was if Gallman is running the way he's going to keep running the way he's running now. We have holes that these guys can run through. And you know my favorite play of all time. I sit back and I think about what Brandon Jacobs would have done with the holes that these guys are able to open up right now. Like, I wish we could have had this offensive line years ago, but this is what we got, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I guess you can't complain. I guess you're first in the NFC East right now, or at least. But again, like I said, I feel like coming down the stretch, I think is going to be veteran guys in key spots where you need it. I understand this ascending of the young New York Giants, but at some point that experience is going to have to come into play, especially when you guys are playing 3 potential playoff teams in the last 4 games versus a team that's playing the Eagles, probably easy win. 49ers that's beat up, probably easy win. Panthers team that's been really unhealthy all year, probably easy win. And then the Seahawks, where it's probably a loss, like you said. So 3-1, I see them coming out. I see you guys possibly pulling off the Cardinals game this upcoming week, but I just don't see you guys beating the Browns or the Ravens.
Why not?
And then
they won't have OBJ.
LBJ hasn't. It don't matter.
And he's still running his mouth now with his little curly hair.
Baker's been playing.
The Giants.
Baker's been playing a lot better since he hasn't, had to force the ball to OBJ. I feel like when OBJ's in line, he feel like he has to give him the ball, feed him the ball because of, media, and then I guess he may be worried about OBJ's like antics or whatever, but I don't think OBJ would be okay. As long as they're winning, I think he would have been fine not getting as many targets and everything. But I feel like he's playing better with him out of the lineup. I still don't like Baker or believe in Baker, but
I don't either.
It's like it's kind of, or he's shown, at least he hasn't shown since he's been out, but he's shown this past week, like if he has to throw the ball a certain amount of times, because they're more of a rushing team, I guess he can. Seems like he has more continuity, just more, I guess, chemistry with the other receivers that's in right now. So
okay, but here's the thing: they're a rushing team, but nobody's been able to run against us, so that automatically makes him have to throw the ball. And I believe in our secondary.
I mean, but you haven't played a 1-2. They have the best 1-2 punch in the NFL right now, hands down. Like you had to play against Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde, who both been in and out of the lineup all year. This past week,
Metcalf.
But he's a receiver. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about rushing. You just said no one can run on y'all, so I'm talking about y'all now playing. You have to contain Chubb and Hunt. So if one of them's not going, the other one's more likely going to be going. It's not like y'all going to stop both of them. They're both, Hunt's dangerous in both the running and passing game. Then Chubb, like I said, he's just a force to be reckoned with. So I don't see y'all stopping both of them at the same time.
Well, there's only one ball, so only one can run at a time. So
I mean, true, but again, I was saying, like, if one thing's not going, they're gonna try to mix it up. If they have to get Hunt the ball in maybe a screen or passing game somehow, they probably gonna do that. But
okay, what does Cleveland's defense look like?
I mean, they've been middle of the road. They're not slacks, but it's like what has y'all offense been like? Y'all not top 5 in the NFL in yardage produced and stuff like that. So it's like that's more like I could take Cleveland's defense over
matchup. Yeah, it's an even matchup, I think.
And what do y'all play that at home? Okay, y'all play at home, but again, y'all have no fans, so I mean, it's not really gonna matter. They're both cold weather teams, so no really advantage there.
It's those wins in Giant Stadium, MetLife Stadium, rather.
Oh, yeah, but again,
those wins there,
Baker's not throwing the ball that. Baker's not throwing the ball that much.
Yeah, we don't throw deep balls, so I like Sterling Shepard. The kid plays, and he plays well, and him and Daniel Jones have a connection. If Evan Ingram can hold on to the ball, I think he'd be a force to reckon with.
I don't know. I don't believe in Ingram either. All I see is all the time on the timeline, everybody just I don't even know.
It's every other play with him. Yeah, it's every other play. But Golden Tate is still there, and he's okay. He's not great, but we don't know. We don't have a.
But who is getting them the ball? Colt McCoy at the moment is getting.
No, he's not. Daniel Jones is expected to come back this week.
I guess, and then I mean, to me, that's not much of an upgrade. I know you guys in I guess Blue Country believe in him, but Daniel Jones
can play, man. The kid can play.
Supposedly second coming of Eli Manning.
He's not. He's not that. I've never called him that. The kid is his own person, and he can play. I don't even know who he reminds me of, but the fact that he can run, he's got a little color in him. He can move, and I like being able to see that because it's not something I've seen in the last 2 decades, pretty much, of a quarterback that can actually go take the ball on a design play and get 40 yards.
Yeah.
So it's a nice thing to have. And our kicker is phenomenal.
You got to bring a kicker in the conversation?
Because he doesn't miss field goals. So we don't have to score a touchdown every single time. The kid is perfect. I think he's 26 of 26 right now.
But what about I can't go field goal to touchdown with some of these teams that's coming up?
Why? We've been doing it so far. We did it with Seattle.
Well, Seattle wasn't scoring touchdowns. That's what I'm saying. I can't go field goals to touchdowns. Like these other teams gonna score touchdowns.
Held them to 0 points for a half.
Exactly. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like Seattle I don't have the schedule up, but they were scoring 30 points every week until they hit the Bills, and then from there, I don't think they've scored 30 points again. Maybe one other time. But I'm saying these other teams, which is the Browns, the Cardinals, and Baltimore, they're going to be scoring touchdowns instead of field goals. So y'all can't go field goal to touchdown with these 3 teams and expect to win the game.
We may not have to. I think they have understood that they need to score more points, and is getting fixed. If anything, I like this coach because he will fire your ass if he will fire you midweek, which we've seen evidenced already. So if there's something that needs to be fixed, I have no doubt in my mind that Joe Judge will call somebody out and tell them to fix it.
It's, and again, I agree with that. I'll agree with that point, just because, like I said, I've seen you guys have been playing better ball since the Bucks game. But all in all, guess like I said, before we move on to the Knicks, I know you said that's a short conversation, which I think it might be too. But before we move on to the Knicks, the 3 games that you say you guys are winning against the Cardinals, the Ravens, and the
It's a toss up between. I think if
you
I
just think
we
you
could
pull
lose to
off one of
Cleveland.
the Browns or Baltimore. Okay.
I think we could lose to Cleveland. If we beat Cleveland, we beat Baltimore. I don't see us losing to both at the same because that's our step up game. I think we beat Arizona. That's nothing. I think if we can shine under the bright lights on a Sunday night game, I don't see us giving that away a week later to Baltimore. Baltimore's not that dangerous. So they're gonna have put Des Bryant out there.
Yeah, but they're gonna get Willie Snead back. He's been a pretty solid receiver for them all year. They'll be, and Mark Andrews. I think he'll be back by then, because that's 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. So they'll have their pass catching weapons back, and they still have a dangerous 3-headed monster in the backfield. So
Have they
and
made
that's
up
a
all their
way,
games?
huh?
Have they made up all their games?
Yeah, they have, because they just kept pushing stuff back and pushing it around. So they had to play the Steelers, and they played yesterday
Right,
against.
and then they play again this Sunday, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So you can expect somebody else on the injury list for them with that short of a turnaround.
If you think so, I mean, no, they play Monday, I think.
Even still, I think you can expect somebody else is going to end up on injury. Who do they play?
I don't even know, honestly.
I think you can expect somebody else on the injury list. Sunday 13th.
As long as it's not.
They play Cleveland.
Oh yeah, that is who they play. Yeah, but as long as it's not Lamar Jackson, any of their running backs, and they're getting Mark Andrews and Willie Snead back, who haven't played just coming
all
off
I'm
COVID,
saying
they'll
is
be okay.
mark it down. Their injury
And
list
defensively,
on
they got all their
Tuesday.
guys back as well. They got Campbell back on the line.
But that short turnaround hurts.
Yeah, but then again, they're playing the Giants. That's how I'm gonna see it. Until
they're not playing the Giants next week. They're playing Cleveland next week, and you're raving about Cleveland. So we'll let.
I'm not raving about Cleveland. I'm just saying. I feel like you're not giving them. You think you're gonna beat you're gonna beat Cleveland and Baltimore back to back if you beat Cleveland.
I know. You're missing my point. If we beat Cleveland, I think that is our coming out game. Last night may have been the coming out game for Washington. Next game will show and tell whether or not they can carry that on. Because yes, that could be their momentum builder. So last night was probably even though Pittsburgh was not all that great. They've been playing horrible for the last 2 weeks. So I don't even know if that's their coming out game. Maybe the Seahawks will be their coming out game. But December 20th, 8 p.m., that will be our coming out game. And I'm mad they moved it to 8, because now that means I can't watch it, because it comes on at 2 a.m. here.
Oh, yeah. I guess we'll hit on that at the end of the show for anybody that's now coming in. But my dad lives in London now. So, yeah, he's not able to watch any primetime games. And unfortunately, well, I guess unfortunate for him, not really unfortunate for me, but, the Giants finally got them one. So won't be able to catch it, but I guess you'll be able to hear about the loss in the morning when you wake up.
Nah, I go to bed early, and I'll set an alarm and wake up and catch the last quarter. The game ends at about 5, I think, 5 or 6 a.m. So before I go to work, it's good to wake up. Like it's hard to watch my teams, especially when they're bad, because it's a 5-hour time difference. And I'm not investing in the Knicks to watch them at 9 or stay up till 2 a.m. to watch my Knicks play. The Giants, I've done some of it, but it's hard. So I wasn't happy that they moved the game, of course, because of Dallas and their crappy behind. So yeah, but I do think if they can step up and win December 20th, which I feel that they can, it's a momentum builder for them. And the last time that happened was when we then ended up beating New England. Yeah. So I remember my seasons.
All in all, I feel like it's gonna come down to where it'll be a close race. I personally think at best you guys split 2-2, and then Washington takes 3 of those and then ends up taking the division. But I'm sure I'll hear from you If it comes down to the last game or two anyway, and then depending on if they win again, maybe I can bring you back onto the show. But you just I'll let you have your victory lap, victory dance if they are able to win. But I wanted to move on and talk about the Knicks because you just made a point about you not wanting to stay up and watch them that often. But I feel like you guys have a little bit to look forward to. Got a whole new front office, which it's the next slide. I was gonna ask you about Tom Thibodeau, but got a whole new front office, got a new head coach. These two guys are supposed to be, I guess, the faces of the franchise at the moment.
Obi is going to take over the face of the franchise. I mean,
you think he's going to take it over from Barrett? I guess because he's supposed to be he's a New York kid. He had a bunch of rave about him this past year. College ball.
Supposedly he can play. Supposedly he can fly.
He can play on the offensive end. He got some defensive work to focus in on. But
yeah, they said he's horrible defensively. Yeah. But who in the league isn't horribly defensively at this point? Everything I'm reading about them sounds good, sounds promising. Do I want them to win? But it's a mixed bag. I'm like, if you're not gonna win at all, then what's the point of being in the middle? You might as well just be Atlanta.
Whoa.
So, easy.
We're not gonna be in the middle.
You know I'm gonna get a dig in there.
No, we're not gonna be in the middle.
Trey is a savior. Moving on.
I mean, we got a bunch. Did you not see the offseason we just had? We're top 6 at the very least. Like 8
in the NFC. Nah, that was before Harden. That was before Westbrook came.
Westbrook and Bill. That's literally it. That's it. I don't think they have much else. Versus like who we've brought in.
Miami's still there.
Miami's brought back the same guys. I think they take a step back because.
Well, I think New Jersey's going to implode, so I don't even see that working out.
Damn, you don't even call them Brooklyn?
Nah, it's New Jersey. It's the Nets, man. Come on.
They have Katie, they have Kyrie, and they have a really good set of guys that back them up. LeVert, Dinwiddie. They got Joe Harris back.
Agreed.
But
they have Kyrie.
You're not a fan of Kyrie?
Why would I be? What has Kyrie ever done that I'm going to be a fan of?
I mean,
I'm listening.
I guess that you not going to be a fan of. But I mean,
I'm asking you a question. Tell me, what am I going to be a fan of that Kyrie is?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like personally, for you, I don't see especially going back to the point what you just said about the fantasy football and everything. Like, yeah, he hasn't done anything for you or your team.
I'm talking about him as a player because what has Kyrie ever brought to a team where he hasn't been the man and he's made a team better? Other than him, he's made himself better. But what am I worried about? Like, what's the mystification?
I guess he's trying to learn. Yes. He's trying to learn that part of it all. He's trying to learn about that leadership thing. Then was it last year he came out, or 2 years ago he came out and wanted to apologize to LeBron because he wanted to, he sees how hard it is to be a leader in the NBA over these type of guys. So, I mean, I can understand that. But talent-wise and skill-wise,
they have talent.
Why you have to laugh at that?
Because it's Kyrie. It's Kyrie.
Oh, I thought it was because of the LeBron thing. I thought you were gonna say.
Well, I don't get on LeBron because I don't want to make anybody cry.
Make anybody cry? Why?
Because of his fans. Because now his feelings are hurt because Kyrie made a comment about him, so it hurt him deeply.
I don't know.
Come on, man. You millennials, man. Dudes are not tough at all. I don't get it.
Me tough. I'm fine. I'd have been all right with it. I can understand why he said that. I'm not digging at him. I can understand why he said it. But I mean, I wouldn't be like, it hurt me a little bit.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about them bums. My Knicks. It's the Nets. They're bums. They're owned by whatever. What's his name? Alibaba founder. Moving on. This kid Obi is supposedly pretty good. Now, depends on what type of offense they're gonna play. I don't know much about what Tom Thibodeau is gonna do.
He's gonna run you guys into the ground and have probably 3 or 4 of them injured after the first preseason game.
Nah, that's D'Antoni, but that's D'Antoni's calling card. Thibodeau doesn't do that because he focuses on defense, but he's gonna play the guys that actually. he's going to play the guys that actually earn their spots. So I know he doesn't have any loyalties in the past, and he pisses players off, which I love. So you got a bunch of young guys that maybe they'll come together and play unless they do something stupid like try and sign Carmelo or Harden.
Yeah, nah. Carmelo went back to Portland, but
He went back to the only place that wanted him.
you didn't think? Well, no, I guess
think
with the new front
I hate
office,
Carmelo I hate Carmelo with a passion.
Why do you only hate him because of what?
I
He
hate him
didn't.
for his entire life.
But you wanted him before y'all got him. I always say if y'all didn't make the trade and waited for him to come, you didn't want him.
Let's go back and let's clarify. That team we had before Carmelo came was a phenomenal team.
It was a good game, or it was a good team. That's why I say I should have waited to the offseason to sign him.
No, well, you blame our moron owner, and you blame that moron, selfish Carmelo Anthony, who's just a team killer in every aspect of the word. He could have waited until July and came with a winning team, but he only cares about himself and said, hey, gut the team. Let me come there and be the man. You had Stoudemire playing at an all-star level before he came. And then what? What did he bring to the city? And now he thinks he's one of the greatest Knicks ever? Dude, please.
Got a few Eastern Conference appearances.
It's the Eastern Conference. It's the same like LeBron going to the finals for 10 times. It's the Eastern Conference. That's not a big accomplishment. Who do you have to beat? Everybody was out west. So who are you beating? Atlanta? That's not a big deal. Yeah, you know we're digging every now and then, but
it was a big deal. It's been a big deal for a few years, or not a few years now, but a few years before we got the 60-win team.
I would have kept Jeremy Lin over Carmelo Anthony in a heartbeat.
Whoa!
And I say that with a full straight face.
I think you don't. I really don't think you believe that.
Dude, I will put my hand on a Bible and say that I will keep out. If I could go back to that season and I could go and do a Tanya Harding on Carmelo Anthony just to keep Jeremy Lin playing in that second unit. Who was the kid that? Who was the white guy that was hitting all the threes?
I was about to say Novak, but I don't think it was him.
It was Novak. It was Novak. Yeah, it was Novak and the kid that went up to Toronto that we got rid of. That second unit. So if you go back and watch that season, you will see Carmelo in that first unit, they would play, but then that second unit would come in with Jeremy Lin, and they would play hard because they knew if Jeremy Lin had the ball, they were passing to the open man, and they were running the floor on every single possession. When Carmelo came out, he slowed down. It was 20 seconds because he got to go and take 19 dribbles and do his fadeaway turnaround, and then miss the last shot of the game. It just slowed. It was two totally different teams. And you could never mix him with that second unit, which is why he hated Jeremy Lin. Because Jeremy Lin wouldn't slow the ball down and wait for his old ass to come running up and down the court and not play any defense. Like, you can get your 30, but if you're giving up 45 every night, what's your point? I hate Carmelo with a passion. I honestly do. Always have.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been a lot different if he had came and signed with y'all during that summer instead of demanding the trade. But that's Knicks basketball for y'all.
Because we're gonna talk about this dude because he's a. Here's the question I have for you: who's his best friends in the league?
Who? Carmelo's? Yeah. LeBron, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade.
The best players in the league at that time. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So he was in the biggest market in the league. Yes or no?
Yeah, New York.
At the time, they may not have been winning, but that is still New York, the biggest market in the league. How many players was he able to come and say, "That's my dude. I want to come." He owns that franchise. He can get anybody to come and say, "Look, I need this guy here with me." How many of them came? In his entire career, how many of his boys have they ever said, "I want to play with Melo"? Think about it. So it's not just my opinion. The facts speak for themselves. Nobody has ever wanted to play with this dude.
Trying to think, I had to have somebody come in. But the people I was about to say, they all came by trade. So.
Exactly. Nobody volunteered to go play with this dude. Chris Paul could have set the tone whenever he wanted to. He had free agency. He never came. LeBron could have made room for him down in Miami or in the Lakers or wherever he was moving his suitcase to every 6 months. Never made room for him. So
good point.
Tell me about it.
I mean, maybe it's more so. So you think it's more so of like nobody wanted to play with him, or it's like Carmelo kind of like just wants to be the guy everywhere he is, and it's like those guys that are his friends wouldn't want to come in and play with him because of that.
Why would you want to go play with somebody who you know takes 27 seconds to bring the ball up and get a shot off, and then is not going to play any defense at all, and doesn't care about winning? It's all about his stats.
So you think? I mean, he came out recently talking about that he cared about winning. You think it's
Because he needed a job, bro.
job?
He needed a job.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what has he ever done? What team has he ever made better? And don't tell me that he's never played with anybody, because he had some people on his teams.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference teams were solid, but it's like you wasn't gonna beat the Miami teams. That's just I guess how it goes. Like I don't think there was a way you guys were gonna beat those Miami teams. But Stoudemire, JR, you think they could have beat them? You think they could have?
With the way they were playing that year, yeah, I think they could have beat them because it was an even matchup.
Which year? Because I think they went back to back or played them back to back.
The Jeremy Lin year.
Oh, was that 2011, 2012?
I think so. That year, I think they could have had it, but I think something happened where they didn't meet. They went the other. Oh no, this idiot punched the glass. Stoudemire.
Oh
He punched the glass that year and cut his hand up or something like that.
Oh,
so
yeah, I remember that.
Exactly. But I mean, I don't. I enjoy the Knicks. I hope they win. I don't anticipate much from them. I think their point guard problems are going to be huge. They don't really have a center. They got Nerlens Noel or whatever his name is.
Yep. And that's all the thing I was going to bring up. Yeah. Who was the Doc Rice's son? Doc Rice's Austin Rivers. Oh yeah, yeah.
Whether or not he can get somebody to come play with him, I don't know. I think the owner. It's the owner. It's as long as we have that owner, I don't see anything good for the Knicks happening for any time soon. Which sucks because I love my Knicks and it's bad. And New York deserves a winning franchise. The league deserves a winning franchise because I think the league is better when the Knicks are good.
That sounds like a Dallas type. That sounds like almost like a Dallas Cowboys type thing to say.
No, because it's Dallas. It's not the same because Dallas. Nobody goes to Dallas other than to see football. You go to New York for New York. As many times as you come up to New York, like you go to New York when New York is winning. You've been in New York is different. Yeah. New Yorkers are built different. So when teams are winning and New Yorkers know their sports, so and that's a summertime sort of finals and stuff like that. You can start getting playoff games in New York. Yeah, the league would make a ton. So the league is better when New York is in the playoffs. It's not better when it's just Cleveland or Milwaukee. Like nobody wants to go to Milwaukee. As much as everybody loves Milwaukee, nobody really wants to go to Milwaukee. There's nothing to do. Like going to Cleveland. Cleveland is a wasteland. And it's the honest truth. Like you've seen me. I've been to the finals. I went to the finals when LeBron was there. Once you pass a block away from the stadium, Cleveland is an absolute wasteland, and it is a depressing city. Miami's great, but it's you need more of them. Like nobody wants to go to Toronto because it's Toronto.
Yeah, it's cold.
So you need New York to be a signature franchise, a winning franchise in the East Coast to bring the East Coast back. Because otherwise, everybody's just going to pay attention to the West. But now that Brooklyn's there,
yeah, all eyes are on Brooklyn. Honestly, you think you guys are the forgotten team, forgotten?
Yeah, but it's Brooklyn until they win, and they haven't taken over New York. Because I think if you put a winning team in the Knicks building, they automatically surpass KD and whatever else that they're doing over in Brooklyn. It's just automatic because it's just history. That's a pedigree there that Brooklyn just doesn't have. Oh, you froze up, bro.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why the power just flashed off, but everything's up and running now. I don't know why, but guess
Pay
that's
your
um
pay your light bill, bro.
ain't my light bill. That's probably why the people. It was like it's about the storm actually. So it's either because somebody's about the storm, and maybe Georgia Power came out or something. I don't know because they was knocking on the door, but I ain't want to answer because obviously I'm doing something. So, but everything paid. Everything paid. I don't know. It just flashed off real quick, but I didn't think that was about to happen. But I guess that's a Q1 that we probably shouldn't be talking about the Knicks anyway. But I was a few questions I did want to ask you
Sure.
about them before we ask a little bit about London and some London sports as well. But uh, one, are you excited about Tom Thibodeau coming in and being the head coach of this team? And then also, out of the guys that you've brought in, I know you guys had a really, really quiet offseason. Most times, most people, the news is like swirling that you guys are going to bring in some type of superstar and make a trade for somebody. Earlier it was Chris Paul and it was Russell Westbrook, but you guys just got, some low quality guys. So who I guess are you most excited about seeing play for the Knicks? And then also, are you excited for about Tom Thibodeau heading this team? What do you think he's going to do with him?
I'm excited about Tom Thibodeau. I wasn't. I'm not too depressed about the guys that came in. I never wanted Chris Paul. I'm like I don't think Chris Paul is a franchise changer. I was on the fence about Russell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like he'll get you some wins, especially in the Eastern Conference. But
Yeah.
is it going to be enough to? And I don't know if anybody really wants to play with him either. I think he's not far
Yeah.
from the come. So, like for me,
It would have been a weird fit with him with the guys that y'all got, I would say.
he's a weird fit with most people because I just don't. I think he's one of there's a certain number of guys that people in the league just don't want to play with. So me being an ex-basketball player, I know there's personalities that I just would not want to play with. It'd be much more fun to play against them because if you're not going to share, you're just a team killer. Um, and I don't know if he would have fit in with Thibodeau because Thibodeau likes chemistry and everything else, and it's not just about one guy. But I'm excited about what his reputation brings. Now, it really, because it doesn't matter who you bring in, it really depends on what our idiotic owner does. And if he's just going to be hands off, which he seems to be more of now, that's what I'm more excited about. Because for me, it doesn't matter who the coach is, as long as it's not D'Antoni, because I hate D'Antoni. So that's more what I'm excited. I'm excited to see if that's going to be the case. But if you've noticed, some things haven't changed. You haven't heard a word from Tom Thibodeau since he was hired because they put a media blackout on all their employees at the Garden. So
yeah.
in my heart of hearts, do I think things have changed? No, because this owner is just billionaire rich kid who was handed a team and doesn't really care about winning because he owns the cable franchise that he sells to the city and doesn't really care about the product that he has to sell because he can charge whatever he wants to charge. But I'm excited about the young guns they brought in. I like Austin Rivers. He's not a game changer, but he's serviceable. Obi, anticipating. RJ Barrett is a beast. I think if he can get a connection and they can find a way to wake up Kevin Knox, they might be able to do something. At least be exciting to watch because it is still the East. Will they match up with KD? No, because KD is just KD. But KD's got his own problems to deal with and trying to manage Kyrie. And it's a short season. So, but it's like I said, the game is so watered down now. It's about getting shots up and can they shoot. And I forgot who the other kid they brought in, the point guard. Quickly or something. Quickie?
Oh yeah, Emmanuel Quickly from Kentucky.
So
I think his downfall.
I'm a Kentucky dude, so they've got nothing but Kentucky players now on the roster. So
him and Knox
and Noel.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to watch them. Will I stay up till 3 a.m. to watch them? Probably not, unless they're winning and I'm missing out. If I feel like I'm missing out something, then yeah, I'll start staying up to watch them. But otherwise, we shall see. It's a wait and see mode. But trust, it can't get much worse than what it's been. So
true. Only if y'all were pretty close to the bottom, like on the floor. So I mean, it's only one.
Well,
we
find ways to screw it up. We screwed up the lottery last time, even though we would end up with LaMelo Ball, which I could care less about. Um, so yeah, it's hard to get excited about them because they didn't make too many mistakes, but they didn't do anything either. So what happens next year? I don't know who's the free agent that they're gonna go out and try to get.
It's supposed to be a bunch. A lot of people are supposed to. Well,
Yeah, but everybody's signing their
even
max deal, so
yeah, so I was about
nobody's
to say
really
people. Yeah, but
everybody's
it's
re-signing.
still a few. It's still a few up in the air. I mean, the only one that had was like LeBron and AD, but were y'all really gonna get them? No.
I ain't want them, but that's beside the point. I wanted AD.
My, you wouldn't want LeBron and
No.
or AD
I
playing
want
for your
AD.
Knicks.
I don't want LeBron. Why would I want LeBron?
Why would you not?
He's 50 years old.
And he's still playing at a very high level.
Because they allow him to play at a high level. You remember, we're from different eras.
I feel like even if he was
Jelani, you've been around me growing up. You see my hood. You see my friends. You see the type of basketball we play. We don't play this touch. You go and show out, and you go and show off in front of me.
I feel like he'd be all right in that though. He wouldn't. Well, he's not going to shy away. He's like, yeah, y'all playing like I've seen it all. I've seen the way you guys play defense, the hard fouls, the Jordan rules, all this and that craziness.
But that's New York basketball. LeBron doesn't play that way. We're not gonna do the flopping. Like we don't do the flopping. It's Xavier McDaniels. Like this is how we play. It's nah, man. But this new breed. That's how they're starting to play as well. So I mean, it's hard to get excited about them because it doesn't really excite the city unless they're gonna go out and win. And if you can't win in the East, then it's really a problem.
Do you think they would make the playoffs or push for 8th spot?
I think they could. I think it's hard to say because I don't even know what 8 teams. I don't know what 8 playoff teams we would have in the East at this point besides Milwaukee, Jersey, DC, Miami.
Hawks.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about real teams.
Yeah, real team.
No, this is top tier, and then those middle guys who just fill in the blanks because that's what the Hawks are. So let's not even go there, okay?
We're not a fill in the blank.
You guys are filling the blanks, dude. Don't come on. You guys are a blank. It's Atlanta.
Oh my gosh. So
who else
we'll
is
wake
in
them
the
up.
East? Toronto's still gonna be good. So
They're gonna be okay. I feel like they lost. They lost Ibaka. They lost Marcus Saul. That's 2 bigs and veteran leaders on their team. I think it's gonna hurt a little bit because I don't know who they.
Oh, Boston.
I don't even know. Yeah, Boston. So I mean, honestly, is Boston, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Miami, us,
DC,
Atlanta Hawks, DC. No, they're not. I don't understand.
They have Russell Westbrook.
What does that mean? Like you
that
just
is
talking about how
a game every night.
40 points with a loss every night.
Not in the East.
In the East.
The same way we talk
and
about
they still have
NFC
to play
East,
Western Conference teams.
The same way we talk about the NFC East, you have to say that about the whole Eastern Conference. It's the
Eastern Conference is server. It's not as much of a. I know the West is still like they probably got 9 to 10 teams or 9 to 10 teams deep, but for the East, there's a solid 7 to 8. So
but
it's not like
you're not going through wars every single night. It's not like you're playing the Lakers, Golden State, Clippers. You're not going through wars every single night. That takes a toll on you after a season. You're not going to be ready to go into the playoffs when you got to go and beat up on these guys every single night. In the East, you can go and take nights off because you're playing the Knicks, and you know that's an automatic win. You go send your team out, and you still gonna get your record padded. Like you playing Atlanta or whatever, or you're playing all these B, C level teams. It's not the same as being in the East. That way.
Oh, I forgot the Pacers. Like there's solid. There's a good solid 8 teams in the East. I would say
they're not solid.
They're not solid. They have nice pieces. They got nice pieces to make them serve. And there was what 6 seed last year? Yeah, something like that. 6 or 7
in the East. In the East, because you have to put it like this: if the NBA did what they should do and go and get rid of the conferences and just put the best teams in the playoffs, you would have 2 teams from the Eastern Conference and everything else would be from the Western.
No way.
Last year would have been. Look at the records. Besides Milwaukee, who else had records? Milwaukee was winning everything, which means everybody else was losing.
Milwaukee,
not last year, the year before last. not the
Yeah.
COVID season. I like put an asterisk by that season. The season before COVID.
Yeah, Milwaukee and Toronto. Because that's when they had
Exactly.
Kawhi.
And everybody else was losing.
And Boston too. They was up there.
Not with a high number of wins though.
I think it was like it was either high 40s or low 50.
Yeah, but you had 70 wins and 60 wins on how many teams in the West because they were beating up on the East. So I think if they need to just go and do the seedings for the top teams and just get rid of the conferences. But they are trying to change it now, and I think it does change now with KD and Russell Westbrook now being in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, some guys is going to be over the East. And then maybe Harden might get traded to Philadelphia.
They're not going to trade him.
Oh, I forgot about Philadelphia. That's another solid. It's a solid team. They made the right moves that they need
They're
to
going to
make this year.
Yeah, they're
Think
going to
so?
implode. Though.
You don't
I
think
don't
Ben and Embiid can't coexist?
Ben Simmons is okay, but he's not a game changer, and I think he's too soft. He's dating a Kardashian. How long can he last? You think I'm joking? It's like, what could they ever done for a team?
I don't know. I think it'd be all right. I think they have to figure out a way to coexist, but who knows?
How long
I guess they get
now. How much longer can that roll? Can that roll on?
You're right. I don't know if it was 3 seasons, 4 seasons now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a possibility. Maybe Doc Rivers has an idea of what they need to do or can do in order to coexist.
Agreed. It's a big question mark, but I think they just got leapfrogged by DC and the Nets.
DC's not doing anything. I understand I like Bradley Beal because I like Bradley Beal, but Bradley Beal and Westbrook with a bunch of Yep. I don't know why I just did it again. I hear fire trucks outside. I don't know what's going on around here, but
maybe it's snowing again and the city shut down.
ha ha ha. It actually did flurry the other week. I think it was last week. But
so maybe people are still stuck on the highway and haven't made it home yet.
Haha, another funny joke. I mean, that was like 4 years ago. And it was understandable. You had to be here to see it. So
It's Atlanta.
that's your answer. It's Atlanta. It made sense. We don't have all those trucks y'all got in New York
I'm not in New York anymore.
Well, you were in New York at the time when it was happening. So
exactly. And you wish you were there.
Nah, I don't like snow. I don't like the cold. I don't like it. Can't do it. Like this is the most of a jacket that I really own. So this is perfect weather for me down here.
See, you got to learn how to rock some Timbs and Parker in the snow.
Nah, I had enough. Like I said, when it snows here, I get enough of that. I get the experience. I get the full experience of what it may be living like in New York. But yeah, that the cold, the slush, the ice, black ice, the 7 feet of snow. I'm okay with that without it. And I'm sure you're okay without it as well across these now.
No, I miss it. I miss it. I miss New York. London is cool, but it's different. It's a different beast. I'm not into the soccer football as they call it here. I don't watch it. Rugby is cool though. Rugby is awesome.
Rugby is really cool. I've seen it.
Rugby is nice. I'm getting into that. Cricket I tried, but it's 5 hours, and I'm just like the score is 230-3. Like,
Yeah, I never
no.
understood that.
And it could last for 10 days. I'm like, yeah, no.
What?
Yeah, it's cricket. I don't understand the rules. I tried. No.
Yeah, I didn't know the score went that high. I just understand like they just hitting it and then like goes everywhere, and I just see them running back and forth. So I don't really understand the cricket thing.
I try to understand it, and I'm just like, nah, no. I try to watch soccer, but I'm like, it's 3 hours for a 1-0 game. I'm just like, yeah.
It gets exciting though.
It used to be, but now they're doing the flopping and all the other stuff. So it's fun to watch though. It's fun to go to the game, but they have different levels. So we live near the Premier League players. Premier League here is the top level.
Yeah.
So it's cool to watch them play, but otherwise, like they are fanatics. Like here, it's you
Soccer
have your
everywhere.
team. So one of the funny things about soccer here is in the stadiums, how you and I can go to a game and we can talk and joke with each other throughout the game. They don't mix opposing fans. The opposing fans are in one little section in the corner of the stadium. They have their own interest to go in because when they start getting rivalries, their rivalries are serious. If I'm a Chelsea fan and I let you come and sit next to me, you can't root for the other team. There's a camera that will come, point you out, and they'll send someone to say you got to move to the other side of the stadium.
Wow, that's serious.
All the bars over here tell you no opposing. They put signs up saying no opposing fans. This is the Chelsea bar. Like it's funny. They don't serve alcohol in view of the pitch. They call it the field. You can only drink up in the rotunda, but you can't drink while you're sitting in your seat.
Jeez.
So that's how sports are here. But the football games here are fun. I saw them. I forgot who it was last year that came to play at Wembley Stadium because the Brits come out to support it. Like they're not rooting for one team. But the funny thing is, as you go to the game, all the Brits wear all these old jerseys. So as you're walking into the game, you see the back of the jerseys. You're like, oh, I remember this guy. I remember that guy. I remember this guy. But it's not just from one team. They just wear any old jersey.
Yeah.
And when the game starts, you know how they'll do the wave and everything else, and they'll tell you to root for the teams. The Brits are so obedient because it's not an opposing fan. They follow the instructions. So like you see what they say when it's do the wave or the 1, 2, 3 clap and all the rest of this. Like the Brits do it because they think that's what we all do in America.
Yeah.
But the stadium itself is really nice. So it's cool to come here and watch American sports. Kentucky was supposed to play here this year, but got canceled because of COVID.
Falcons were supposed to play there this year.
Yeah, nobody was going to watch them.
Yeah, everybody was going to watch them. I think you probably was going to go to the game.
No, I wouldn't. No, I really wouldn't. It's the Falcons.
Yeah.
It's the Falcons.
And that's why we're so popular over there because we go over there a few times. We've gone over there a few times.
I love you, but this relationship's kind of forced on me, and I have to love you. But it's some of your opinions about your teams.
It's all right.
It's just hard to take at times, man.
I feel like you'll come around. The only team I feel like you come around to would be the Hawks. I can see that one for sure. You'll come around to the Hawks, especially after this year.
Who is the Hawks? Oh, that's your basketball team. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. It's funny. It's the Hawks.
It's a funny guy. You're funny.
It's the Hawks.
I know you see the work that they're putting in. I know you saw the off-season additions and everything. So I'll just let them play do the talking.
See, that's your thing. You like to be in middle of the pack where people.
It's not middle of the pack. No, it's not.
And then they just never remember you again.
It's not one week.
I get it. You strive to be in the middle. I get it. That's cute.
It's not the middle. We'll be at the top.
of the
Yeah.
middle. I get it. I get it.
The top of the middle.
I get it. I get
It's
it.
like,
You got to shoot for the middle, and that's an accomplishment. I don't begrudge you for that.
all I know is Atlanta sports are on the rise. I guess you got to talk about how your New York, Giants and everything is on the rise. Again, appreciate you for coming on. Like I said, I
Thank you,
want to
sir.
dedicate the show to mainly New York Knicks, New York Knicks, New York Giants, New York Knicks. Maybe we'll be able to coexist and do a Mets show together at some point, but I'm not too sure about that.
Look, tell your fans that from me, I love you. To go easy on you. You're not that bright, but you do have a lot of potential if you can start rooting for the right teams. Um,
I
there's
mean,
there's some hope for you left. It's not totally a lost cause, but happy to come back on in 2 or 3 weeks from now when I can say I told you so. Like I said 3 weeks ago about the Giants, and maybe by then the Knicks will start playing and I can have something positive to say about them.
yeah, we'll make a deal on that. If the Giants win, they win the division, then for sure. I'll bring you on every week if the Giants win the division.
Nah, bro, I
I
got a
would be
life. I ain't
gladly.
got time to be sitting on the computer talking to you, man. I live in London. I'm going to Spain for Christmas.
Oh
I'm
my
going to
gosh.
Madrid.
I guess I can't say anything about that. Like, that's nice. Maybe one
I
day
told you, come on over. I'm sitting in your room right now doing this interview. So the room is here waiting on you. Get on the plane.
I would try. It's probably cheaper actually now than COVID prices, so I'll definitely have to look.
Well, actually, no, you can't come in. I think
Oh
Americans are
yeah.
banned.
Wow, we're banned. Makes sense though. I
It's
would ban this
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think you guys are crazy right now. I was gonna try to come up there for Christmas, but I'm canceling my flight tomorrow.
Oh,
And that's where we
it's
just
not a
booked
week.
Spain.
I'm not. It's 45.
No, New York is crazy with the COVID thing. So we booked
Mm,
Madrid. We're gonna go to Spain and hang out there for Christmas for a couple of days, and then
It's
I gotta
probably
come back and
better
work.
anyway.
It's a little
'Cause,
warmer. It's not hot, but it's not London. London gets cold.
yeah. Plus, I'm sure y'all probably actually get to do stuff as well. Because supposedly we're probably going to shut down when
That's what I think. That's why I'm canceling
Joe
my
gets to
flight.
office.
Yeah,
So
before they cancel it on me. So, but yeah, let me know. Hope I see you soon,
cool.
and enjoy. Good luck with your teams. You're gonna need it.
No, I don't need no luck. It's okay. Falcons are done with till next year, and then I have high hopes with my Hawks. I feel like we're gonna make a lot of noise, and we're gonna disprove some guys like you that think we're just middle or top of the middle. So
You only slightly above Dallas fans, like slightly above. At least Dallas did have
Ooh,
a history. You guys have nothing.
we have stuff. We have stuff. We have stuff. Might take a little bit of research to do it, but I know we got some.
Exactly. All right, dude.
Yeah.
Talk to you
All right.
later, man. Love you.
See you. Love you too. Appreciate it.